Welcome to the NBA here on 2K Sports. It's Friday night basketball. It's going to be Brandon Knight and the Detroit Pistons up against Deron Williams and the Brooklyn Nets. And that's all for now. Time to hand it over to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. I'll be back with more at halftime.
The Nets play before the hometown crowd. We've got it for you tonight, live from Brooklyn, New York. Pistons coming to town, hoping to notch this one here in this one-game road trip. They've put it all together over the course of their last 7 games. They've only had 1 loss over that span.
Well, right now for the Pistons, they've got to be very pleased with how this campaign has kicked off for them.
Well, it's been a good start, and they'd like to keep it going. Obviously, the NBA season being so long, it's tough to maintain a start like this. But all they can do is just focus on each and every game and try to keep this momentum that they've built here in the early going.
Presented by State Farm, let's take a look now at the Detroit Pistons opening lineup. They've got Hickson, DeRozan out there with Ibaka. Then it's Harden, and it's Knight in at the 1. Some changes for Brooklyn. Maggette out there with Deron Williams. Then there's Johnson. Then it's Brandon Bass. And it's Lopez in at center.
Well, you can't help but be impressed by this beautiful new arena. I mean, the Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, I mean, they broke ground back in March of 2010, and here we are, a $1 billion arena right on Flatbush Avenue, and a culmination of a lot of work, and the excitement is palpable.
You said this before, the history of this area, the Brooklyn Dodgers played here. Evans
way
Field.
back.
Yeah. Great area. First quarter of play, 1 minute played. And good on the basket. Book it. Knights got 6. And they tip it off with Style Clark to inaugurate the Barclays Center grand opening, a series of concerts by Nets co-owner and multi-platinum record artist Jay-Z.
And what better way to celebrate than that? Just a ton of excitement around the city, the arena, and this team. I'll tell you what, it's going to be fun to be a part of it.
Offensive rebound. Shot clock at 4. Bass's shot. Good. Bass has got his first basket of the night.
Nice putback. That's why you want guys working hard on the boards at both ends of the floor.
Here's DeRozan. Off the mark there with the 3-point shot. Looking at the last game for the Brooklyn Nets, it was a win against the Raptors.
And I don't want to take anything away from their effort in the win, but not a whole lot of fight from the defense they were facing.
And they took advantage of that, Steve, as you would expect them to. You got a team that's not showing you any defensive resistance. Show them your killer instinct.
Nice soft touch to drop that one in.
Nets have gone 2 of 5 here, making 40% so far to start out the game. And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
I was able to talk with Lawrence Frank for just a moment. The topic of conversation, Deron Williams. He was quick to point out what a heady player Deron is, saying when he's out there on the floor, he just reads every situation and more or less acts like a coach out there. When you combine that with Williams' scoring ability, you can see why he is so feared around the NBA.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. A second chance effort. And DeRozan with the basket on the assist by Knight.
Boy, a fast start here. Their offense has been very impressive.
Yeah, they're making their own luck, Clark, really playing with a purpose offensively. Well, Brandon Knight is an athletic combo guard. Spent 1 year.
Oh, what a throwdown. Yes.
Look at that athletic play. Incredible.
You know what? There he goes again. I mean, it's not a stretch at all to call him one of the NBA's elite premier dunkers. He's actually platinum.
You're right. You know, Steve, when he gets in his mind to attack the rim, it's always something to see.
Yeah, it's exactly what we've come to expect from him, because he does it continually on a night-in, night-out basis.
And that replay sponsored by Sprite, giving us a great look at that one. Maggette kicks to Johnson. Over to Rosen. Gathers. And Lopez throws it down.
You know, he made may lack grace, but his length makes up for it. He can still throw it down now.
Well, you don't have to be a fantastic leaper when you're his.
It's too bad because with a little more athleticism, can you imagine how dangerous he'd be underneath the boards? Defensively, this team is just giving up way too many open looks.
You're exactly right, and to battle back, they've got to shore that defense up, Steve.
Harden against Maggette. Lopez, no luck.
I like the work there, contesting that shot that looked like it was going to be easy, but they forced the miss.
You know what? He got it in close, but couldn't finish in traffic.
Now we get a chance to check out the standings out east. Already we are in December. You look at Detroit and, of course, the Brooklyn Nets, 3 spots below.
Well, you know, I think for Detroit, they've achieved all the goals they'd set for themselves in the early part of the season. I mean, their confidence really sky high right now. It should be.
Well, I don't see any reason, Clark, why they shouldn't be able to keep this pace up. I mean, this is a team that has some talent. They've clearly established an identity. They're playing both sides of the floor, and they put together a nice start to this season. So the momentum is there for them.
For the Detroit Pistons, they won their last contest, that game against the Nuggets.
Well, I'll bet they feel it never should have even gotten as far as overtime, but they kept their cool once it did get there, and they finished it off nicely.
Yeah, they got a second life when it got to OT, and they took that.
Oh!
Look out! Watch out below! Wow!
They built an early lead here, really pushing ahead.
Well, they've got a huge advantage, points in the paint, Steve, and they're attacking early, so taking advantage of scoring in close.
Williams kicks to Maggette. That's good.
That just shows you guys, I mean, he's always in aggressive mode. I mean, he will exploit any opening the defense gives him, and he's always probing, looking for opportunities to attack.
James Harden again. Harden's got 10 points in the game.
Well, sometimes, guys, you can forget he's out there, and all of a sudden, bang, he'll string together 3 or 4 shots in a row and just take over the game.
And I think he's one of the best at finishing in close quarters, too. I mean, it's very hard to knock him off his shot.
Backing him down is Johnson. For 3, Williams. Out to Maggette. Shoots over Hickson. No good from Maggette.
Looked like he rushed that one, guys. The defense was out of position. He was wide open, just couldn't take advantage.
Here's Hickson. And there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
Crowd not happy at all with that call, Clark.
You know what? I hope these officials, Steve, have thick skin, and I know they do because they're hearing it on that call.
Lopez.
Boy, they ran a nice play there, Kevin, to set up the easy dunk.
Yeah, he got help from his teammate and ran his man right straight into the pit.
Yep, and that's the offensive player's job. Run him into the screen.
And it was a great pick, too, Clark. I mean, he may have lowered his shoulder a little bit, but he got him pretty clean.
Williams kicks to Bass. He feeds it to Maggette. Lopez outside Williams. 5 on the clock. Here's Maggette. Gets the bucket. Maggette's got his second bucket tonight.
You know, really doing a good job of getting into the teeth of that defense here.
Yeah, they're having their way in the paint right now, guys. That's 6 of their last 10 points coming inside the lane.
It's still early, but they've started to establish themselves on the glass here.
Yeah, and that's due to their physical play. They're scrapping and clawing for each and every rebound out there. And Lawrence Frank of the Pistons, one of those rare coaches who not only wasn't an NBA player, but didn't even make his high school team. But he's been around this game for a long time and has done an excellent job with Detroit.
Timeout call, the Nets. And going back to Lawrence Frank, he played in community center leagues, was the team manager in college at Indiana, and obviously Steve learned a great deal.
Yeah, pretty amazing story when you think about it. Most coaches in the league were former players or maybe big-time college coaches. So a real success story for Frank, and the hard work, the influence from coaches that he's been around has helped him become a good coach in the league.
Harden dishes to Ibaka. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Great job taking it right at the defense. I like the aggressiveness.
Yeah, he left him no choice but to foul there.
The Pistons shooting their first free throws tonight. The first trip to the stripe in this one.
And that's a little better than they did last year from the free throw line.
Williams with the ball. He picked up 18 points in their last win against the Raptors in Toronto.
And he really competed defensively, too, Kevin. 3 steals.
Here's Johnson. Can't get it to go. Ibaka with some nice D.
A very rough quarter for him, as not much is falling right now.
And Knight slams it in.
There's one thing about the alley-oop. You can't fire the pass in there. You got to have some air under that pass. It needs a little hang time.
That's exactly right. A lot of finesse, just like that one was. Perfectly thrown.
Yeah, that's what makes the play so much fun to watch. There's finesse on the front end, but then power on the end.
They recover it. Williams, that's a 2-pointer. He squares up and sinks it. Williams has got his first bucket of the night. Here's Harden in for the dunk.
You know, the dunk was great, but I didn't care for that interior defense there, guys. It was non-existent.
You're right, Clark. You know, it was way too easy. I don't think the coach liked it either. Look at that face. Uh-oh.
It doesn't get much easier than that. They have got to tighten up their defense. That was embarrassing.
16 feet away. That misses would have counted had it gone in. Oh, we've seen some great shots in the first quarter. No. Tune in next. Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start the second quarter. And guys, what's your take on the Pistons so far?
Boy, the offense has been so smooth. Everybody working together, and you can tell they're getting good shots pretty much every time down.
Yeah, they're a well-oiled machine there. I mean, they keep the ball moving, they keep themselves moving, and as a result, they're piling up the points.
On the floor for Detroit, Ibaka is out there with DeAndre Jordan. Then there's Jordan Crawford, then it's DeRozan, and it's Miller in at the shooting guard. Pistons leading by 9.
There's never been any question about Deron Williams' ability to score. How about last season with the Nets when he had 57 in a game, including 21 consecutive free throws? Now, that's a Nets franchise record, the 57 points in one game. Amazing.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Guys, point guard Deron Williams is motivated more than ever by trying to win it all. He said, my priority is winning a championship. I have to be ready to take my game to the next level. I feel good about where I am in my career. I've accomplished a lot of things individually. I've been recognized as an all-star and that sort of thing. But what I really want now is to win a championship. The individual stuff is great, but I'm ready to chase a bigger team goal. Kevin, the Nets have certainly gotten some great talent to put around them.
Well, nowhere to go but up. Thanks, Doris.
Well, we'll see if in a new city, a new situation, he's able to take that next step.
When you talk about Williams as a scorer, he can give you those big nights, you know, scoring, but of course also.
Oh, man, that was unreal. Mark it up. Rock that rim. Gotta love that enthusiasm, folks.
Not only, Clark, did he rock the rim, he decided to hang around a bit for that one, too. I love it.
What a finish. That was just gorgeous.
Special thanks to Sprite for that sweet replay. Joe Johnston on the wing. Shoots over DeRozan. Johnson's shot is off.
They continue to pull down misses, and that's how they're maintaining this lead.
Yeah, well, one and done is the recipe for continuing to hold on to a lead. You don't want to let the other team back in it by giving them extra possession.
Hogan's passes to Williams. Over Jordan. Williams can't hit.
Shot seems to be a little awry today, just off a fraction. They've got to have him pick it up, though, and soon.
There's Miller with the 3. Good. For 3. Miller's got 6.
Well, the thing I think people admire about him is that he's able to drop the 3 ball seemingly effortlessly. It's almost like second nature to him.
Yeah, it's natural. It's certainly not something he thinks about. I love the stroke on his shot from long range, and you certainly know something about that from his fingertips to nylon. Smooth sailing.
Corey Maggette, he's checked in for Brooklyn. Detroit also making some changes. J.J. Hickson, he's checked in for DeAndre Jordan. Anderson comes in for Serge Ibaka. And it's Tristan Thompson in for DeMar DeRozan. Here's Johnson. 14 points from him the last game against Toronto. Count the bucket. Johnson's got his third bucket of the night.
Kevin, that's exactly the kind of shot you want off the inbounds play. And for a point guard, you love LUV, that finish. Wow.
Yeah, he's really been able to get off his feet and sky. Something to watch.
Incredible athleticism, both laterally and vertically.
And Bass kicks to Maggette. Lopez, Hickson covering. Williams for three. Maggette outside. Lets it go with the three. That drops. Maggette's got 10 points in the game.
He may not be their top three-point option, guys, but you still got to cover him. I mean, you got to defend him in some form or fashion.
Here's Bass.
Oh, are you kidding me? That was a power punch right there. I tell you what, you need to archive that one for the highlight tape.
Oh, yeah, that is a keeper. You're correct.
Man, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And those plays will give your team a huge boost.
He's short for the center position, but he makes up for it with tremendous leaping ability.
Johnson outside. It's up against Thompson.
Williams.
Johnson down low. The shot no good.
Well, they are getting out rebounded here, and it's showing up on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, it's something they're going to have to improve upon if they're going to win this game. Well, after a slow first quarter, he's starting to pick it up a bit here.
Nets trail by 14. Williams kicks to Johnson. Unloads from 13. And it's Johnson again missing. And there's the foul. It's on Brandon Bass. That is his first foul of the game. So for the Pistons, Harden comes in for Mike Miller. And it's Brandon Knight in for Jordan Crawford. Good. And the Pistons lead by 16.
They can't seem to stop anybody inside.
They got to know that if they don't make life tougher in the paint, the opponent is just going to keep going there. I mean, it's not like they'll get tired of all these in-close opportunities.
Back to Johnson. There's the three. And the Nets miss again.
He's really struggling in this quarter right now. They need to think about getting the ball out of his hands.
Thompson with the bucket.
This is not what they wanted to let happen. They're just getting pounded inside.
Yeah, they are, Steven. I mean, they're just not making life difficult at all for scores in the paint. I mean, that's an area that you've got to protect with force and aggressiveness, and we haven't seen it.
Hickson kicks to Harden. It's stolen by Johnson. To end the run. And it's been a while, but he finally gets one to go. Johnson's got 8.
That's grace over power, guys. With that finger roll, gets him 2 points. Impressive stuff.
A nice shot by Knight. Nets trail by 18.
You know, James Harden has started to draw comparisons to Manu Ginobili for his ability to really do it all offensively. Shoot, drive, create, and of course, being left-handed, that helps too. There's that transition offense. It's been big for them in this game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, that's what they've had working for them. Speed. They've upped the tempo whenever they've had the chance.
Maggette dishes to Lopez. Shoots over Hickson. And there's Lopez. That's good on the assist from Corey Maggette.
And, you know, guys, you look at that James Harden-Ginobili comparison, and they both can really run the pick and roll effectively. They're slashers. They're smart. They can shoot the three. They've got the mid-range pull-up. I think Harden still has a ways to go defensively to be on Manu's level, but he's making strides there as well.
That's a gut punch right there, Clark. Cough up the ball at one end and get beaten on the break at the other.
Yeah, that really hurts. That's painful.
Williams kicks to Maggette. It's good. Great play by Williams to set it up. Maggette's got 12 in the game.
No question about it, guys. He's been one of their best performers today.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burdick. Doris, what do you have?
Hey, Kevin. Well, the Pistons are trying to make some much-needed improvement defensively. Coach Lawrence Frank has given his players an interesting incentive, saying, quote, "We give the ultimate gold ticket to players. If we get stops, we just play out of basketball principles. We don't run set plays off of misses. So if I'm a player and I want freedom, I'm going to get stops. Kevin, this is an intriguing way to encourage that kind of effort on the defensive end.
Defense, maybe not as much fun as offense. So putting that carrot out there makes some sense.
They continue to barrel their way inside. And when's the defense going to adjust?
Well, I'm asking the same question myself, partner. I mean, that's 8 points out of their last 10 coming inside.
Brooklyn making some changes. Latch comes in for Brook Lopez. And it's Bogans in for Corey Maggette. .104 left in the first half. Here's Williams. Another one falls for Brooklyn. And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here. They're getting their first look of the season at the Nets in this one.
Well, they took the season series from this club a year ago, but then again, almost everybody did.
Different look here for Detroit. DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Hickson. Baca comes in for Ryan Anderson. And it's DeRozan in for Tristan Thompson. Here's Knight. Kicks it out to Harden. Lets it go from deep. Brooklyn with the rebound. Johnson's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Clark, let's be honest here. I doubt either team is shooting for the playoffs.
Well, Kevin, I'm always honest. That's the only way that I roll. They might say they are, but sometimes you need a reality check. That said, we've seen amazing turnarounds in the past. It could happen with one of these guys.
Gets it to go.
Well, they've finally gotten into a rhythm offensively this quarter, and if they keep shooting like this, they won't be down for long.
Well, Steve, you can see them looking to cut that lead down little by little to turn things around, and that's how you got to do it. How do you eat a big pizza? One slice at a time.
Bogans kicks over to Watch. Rebound, Detroit. They led the game at 1 point by 20.
Another board for them, and they've got a huge advantage in that regard.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise. I mean, rebounding one of the true barometers in winning basketball games, and if you rebound better, you typically are going to win ball games and do it comfortably.
Here's Knight. No good trying to beat the buzzer. That'll do it for the first half.
Now, presented by Sprint. The over.
Now it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. An exceptional performance so far from James Harden.
Yeah, the points have really come in bunches for him so far, and not really a surprise because you know exactly what he can do.
Well, he's been in the groove all game long, Steve, and not too many hiccups in regards to his shooting, but we also have come to expect this from him, so we're not surprised by it.
They've got Brandon Bass. Maggette out there with Darren Williams. Then it's Brook Lopez. And it's Johnson in at the 3. So that's the lineup for Brooklyn.
Great move to get to the bucket and lay that one in. He's got the softest touch around the basket. Impressive.
2 points. You know, the Pistons had a look at the playoffs for a brief moment last year, Kevin, but couldn't quite make the sustained push. Their shortcoming made it 3 straight seasons now without postseason play. Boy, this is a shooting exhibition, guys. I mean, he's not wasting any of his chances.
Williams kicks to Johnson. 13 feet away. Another miss by Johnson. Pistons leading by 16. Adding on to what you were saying, Clark, about the Pistons, the team has been around in one form or another for 70 years now. They've only missed the playoffs 24 times. That's pretty consistent stuff.
Yeah, they've brought home 3 titles since they moved from Fort Wayne to Detroit. Of course, back-to-back titles with Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys. And then more recently, that group with Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton. So an organization that's rich with tradition. Tell you what, this has been the Achilles heel for this club defensively. They can't seem to secure a rebound.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they're getting outworked on the glass, and no second chance baskets have really sabotaged their defense. Help out, help out!
Williams against Knight. Williams passes to Bass. Over Ibaka. Bass can't get it to go. The Pistons have gone 2 of 4 here to start the second half. Left side, Ibaka. Into Jordan. And he converts the layup. Jordan's got his second basket.
Creating that kind of shot in close is really your primary objective every possession. DeMar DeRozan out of Los Angeles went to USC, a very gifted athlete, strong, explosive. I think he's a player with tremendous upside.
J.J. Hickson, he's checked in for Detroit. Jordan Crawford comes in for Brandon Knight. Here is a list of the NBA's most adept passing teams this season. These are your assist leaders. In third, the Nets.
And, you know, contrary to what we see from other teams, this team really has no interest in playing selfishly. I mean, their assist numbers show what a cohesive unit they are.
2 shots.
The Nets shooting their first free throws of the game.
Well, pretty good numbers this season at the line for this club, right around 78% as a team.
Guys, that says a lot about the poise of this team. I mean, they've been so calm, cool, and consistent at the stripe this year. I mean, that's impressive.
DeRozan's shot is good. Going back to DeRozan's upside, Steve, what do you think he needs to work on to take that next step?
It's all about the outside shot for DeRozan, Kevin. The consistency of his perimeter game will tell how far he goes and how much he develops. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's a big, strong kid. Just has to be more consistent with that outside game.
He got an advantage there off the pick and took it right in. Hickson's got 8 points.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
Pistons leading by 18. Harden dishes to Crawford.
And they've been unable to find the bottom of the net from the outside here in the second half like they did in the first half. And that's a concern. That's a big part of who they are, the three-point shot.
Crawford missing again. The Nets have gone a lackluster 3 of 9 from the field since halftime. Johnson, that's for 2. Not wasting any time and taking the shot and knocking it down. The Pistons have gone 5 of 9 on field goal attempts since halftime. Harden kicks to DeRozan. Back to Harden. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Well, there's so much excitement about the Nets' move to Brooklyn. I mean, not just locally, but really league and nationwide. I mean, Brooklyn, the largest borough in New York City with a cherished sporting history. I mean, and yet since the late 50s, no major league team to call their own. Boy, to me, it looks like a great fit for the Nets, guys.
Good point. Looking at who's out there now for the Nets. Andre Blatch, he's checked in for Ben. Hogan's comes in for Joe Johnson. Marshawn Brooks is checked in for Corey Maggette. And Taylor subbed in for Darren Williams. The Nets making a switch here. Evans is checked in. And Brooklyn so culturally vibrant. Clark, I mean, you really nailed it with your last comment. It's been called the coolest city on the planet. And who better than Brooklyn bred and raised Jay-Z, cultural icon and part owner of the Nets, to make the introductions. That's really neat.
Sounds like a win-win flow to me.
Yeah, I think he represents Brooklyn as much as any other celebrity, and he knows it. And that can only help the team's transition and integration into this community.
Crawford's shot is good. Nets trail by 20. Here's Taylor. Brooks gets the screen from Evans. Brooks outside. And that one's good. The Pistons have gone 7 of 11, a lucky field goal percentage here in the third. Here's Harden. The teardrop falls in. Harden's got 28 points for the game. Watch inside. He's against Hickson. Now here is Blatch. Hickson covering. The net shooting here about 46% for the game. It's Brooks on the wing. On target from 13 feet. Brooks has got his second bucket of the night. Pistons leading by 18. Here's Crawford, and he slams it in one-handed.
You let him get to the rim, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You deserve that.
He's more than capable. You're right, Clark, of providing some great highlight reel material.
Yes, sir.
And for a point guard to finish like that, I mean, that is just special.
DeRozan passes to Hickson. To the middle. Poked away. Here's Evans. It's blocked.
And this is why they have the big lead. The rebounding has been dominant.
You know, guys, the +8 rebounding, I don't think it tells the whole story. I mean, they've been the more physical team from the outset. That's been the difference, their physicality.
Harden dishes to Ibaka. That is good. Ibaka's got 5 points so far.
And what you love about James Harden is his passing ability. You know that he can score, he can shoot with range, he can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim. But he's probably the best passer on the team as well, and he also has a great beard.
And DeRozan throws it down hard.
I can't imagine that we'll see one better than that tonight.
I'm with you on that, aren't you, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I'd be shocked if we saw something more entertaining than that one.
That was a great angle we just saw. Courtesy of Sprite. Here's Taylor, and again, no good by Brooklyn. And James Harden, you said it, Steve, not just a scorer. He really, Clark sees the game.
Yeah, I love that about him. He sees and feels the game. Those are guys that just have a knack for being in the right position and right place and understanding pace and rhythm of the game. His rush hour handles, boy, I tell you, allow him to do things that very few players can do in the paint.
Crawford kicks to Harden. Evans on the double team. Here's Hickson. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. Hickson's got 10 points in the game.
Well, they keep going right back to the paint, and who can blame them? I mean, they're getting it done in there.
Yeah, 3 of their last 5 buckets, guys, have come from inside the lane area, so I'd expect them to continue to go inside right at the defense.
Here's what Brooklyn's going with right now. Brook Lopez is checked in for Evans. Johnson comes in for Keith Bogans. Corey Maggette, he's checked in for Marshawn Brooks. And Darren Williams is subbed in for Taylor. Here's Williams. He's got 10. Kicks to Johnson. Over Azubuike. It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Obvious foul.
Yeah, he took a hit right there and earned those free throws.
The Nets have hit all 4 of their chances so far in this one.
That's been one of the strongest aspects of this team this season. I mean, there have been very few off nights for them at the free throw line.
He kicks it to Miller. Good if it goes, and that's not going to go. The 3 quarters of play all in the books, and this one.
Tune in next Thursday. LeBron James and the Mike.
Hello and thanks for joining us, folks. The 4th quarter of play should begin momentarily. Now, let's check in with Doris Burke for the Sprite Uncontainable Game. Doris?
Thanks, Kevin. And it's the Pistons with the Uncontainable Game Award for the offensive stretch they put together. It seems like the court is tilted in their favor as everything keeps going in their direction. One can only assume they'll continue to add to their lead in the final quarter of play.
All right, Doris, thanks. And the run Doris mentioned, guys, that was really a huge game changer here.
No question, Kevin. Probably the pivotal moment in the game so far, and I thought that really set the tone.
You know, one of the things that was interesting to me is you could see the body language of both teams change at that point. Obviously in different directions. Confident and assured on one side and a bit of chin in your chest on the other side.
And on the floor for Detroit here in the 4th. Ibaka is out there with Mike Miller. And it's Azubuike. Then there's Brandon Knight. And it's Jordan in at the center position. Watch the pass to Watson. Buries it from 3-point range.
I got to give them credit, guys. They are shooting their way back into the game 3 points at a time.
And you just had that feeling, Steve, that they'd get hot at some point from deep. And here it is.
The offensive rebound. Knight. The second chance bucket is good. Knight's got 5 points in the quarter.
Well, they say control the glass, control the game. They're definitely controlling the glass.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's been the case here tonight. Big lead they're enjoying on the glass.
And that one's good. About a minute and a half into the fourth quarter now. Azubuike dishes to Miller. Over Stackhouse. That's good for Miller. The assist by Azubuike. Nets have gone 2 of 3 from the field to get the fourth quarter started. Watson kicks to Brooks. Unloads from 13. That's good on the jump shot. The Pistons have gone 3 of 5 here in the fourth quarter. Pretty good numbers coming out of the break. A nice shot by Knight. Knight's got 10 points in just the second half.
He's putting on a commanding performance here. He's hit 2 3-pointers in each half now.
And here's Watson. Pass to Brooks. Over Miller. Here's Evans. Slams it on the run.
Look at that effort. Does he set a great example out there or what?
On plays like that, he does. Sure. What work on the offensive glass we see with him.
Yeah, that was awesome. Put back with the slam. Are you kidding me?
Baseline J on the way.
No breathing room at all to take that shot.
The Nets have gotten 4 of their 6 shots to fall so far here in the fourth. A pretty nice efficiency there. Here is Watson. He's guarded by Knight. Here's Stackhouse. Serge Ibaka with the rebound. Ibaka's got 7 rebounds in the game. The pass to Knight. 3-pointer. Rebound blotch. The Nets shooting 57% in this fourth quarter. Brooks with it. And it's Miller picking him up. Brooks can't get that one to fall.
The fadeaway was the right shot there because it got his attempt away from the defender, but the touch was poor.
Here's Ibaka. The shot will not go. So Brooklyn will take it the other way. When this game is done, they'll be off to Chicago as they take on the Bulls. That will be a getaway game for them, a 1-game road trip.
Boy, a lot of fans around the league really focused on that matchup for Chicago.
Azubuike, the pass to Ibaka. Miller. Again, the miss by the Pistons. Fourth quarter of play, and over 3.5 minutes have gone by. Here's Stackhouse. And again, it's the Nets missing.
Well, he's been trying to add that mid-range shot to his arsenal, but it still isn't there.
Miller, no luck. Watson with it. Brooks right side. Looking to end his cold spell. Good on the shot.
Well, after that poor first half, he's bounced back. He's having a nice second half here.
Now a timeout called by Detroit.
Guys, we've talked about how valuable superstar players are in this league, and there's no denying that. They've actually become more influential on their teams, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing when they're expecting to have a big voice in personnel decisions, who their GMs are, who they're going to draft. I still think there's something to be said for players staying within the line of being players, superstars or not.
Taylor's checked in for the Nets. Detroit also making some changes. J.J. Hickson, he's checked in for DeAndre Jordan. Tristan Thompson comes in for Mike Miller. And it's Harden in for Kelena Azubuike. And they will get the basket here, folks, as they rule goaltending.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
Taylor. Here's Watson. The shot from the low post is good.
What a play. The hoop plus the harm.
Excellent concentration on the finish. That's big time.
And Watson no good on that one. Clark, brought up a great thing about the superstar players wanting a voice on personnel, and some said that for Chris Paul and Dwight Howard when they became discontented, that was a big reason, that they weren't, Steve consulted enough on who the next coach would be.
Yeah, it's a dangerous precedent for the players. In Dwight Howard's case, it's really come to the forefront just how negative that power can be. Sometimes as a player, you're better off just being ignorant to what's going on in the front office. Just focus on your own job. Hey, if they make mistakes, then it's their fault, not yours.
Well, I like that sandpaper type grit going after those loose rebounds on the offensive end. That's glass eating, folks.
They have a good amount of second chance points to show for it, guys. Always a nice bonus.
Harden's shot is good. Harden's got 15 points here in the second half.
Boy, he's been good offensively tonight. I really like what I've seen.
And the foul called on Brandon Knight. That's foul number 2 for him. And a new group out there on the floor for the Nets. Taylor dishes to Evans. Passes it to Blotch. Stolen by Thompson. Hickson kicks tonight.
Well, last season with the condensed schedule, we saw a lot of college players choose to return to college to avoid the uncertainty. For those who came out, in some ways it was an advantage. They often saw more playing time as coaches looked down their benches because of the condensed schedule.
There's the screen by Blatch. From deep, they get the rebound. Evans kicks to Bogans. Shot's good.
Looked like they found the soft spot in the defense there.
The Pistons have got a pretty good rhythm going offensively, shooting 8 of 15 for the quarter. And you mentioned the valuable playing time for the rookies, Clark. Also, don't forget a lot of journeyman, Steve, journeyman veteran players took deals abroad.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Guys went to Europe or China and then did not return for the NBA season. So that did open up some minutes for some younger players. And it was fun to watch. We saw some guys have a real impact on the league in their first years. Guys like Irving and Rubio and Fareed, Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio, even Isaiah Thomas, the last pick of the draft. He made a big impact in Sacramento. And that should do it. This is an insurmountable lead.
Yep, there's too little time left, too big a deficit to overcome. This one's over.
There's the dish to Blatch. Shoots over Hickson. And again, it's Brooklyn converting.
Smart move with that mismatch he's got.
You know what? That extra advantage sure pays off on the mid-range jumper.
A nice shot by Knight.
What a half they're having from beyond the arc. It's getting ridiculous.
And there's no reason they shouldn't keep attacking from out there. I mean, they've got it going on in a big way now.
Evans with it. It's Ibaka picking him up. Dishes it to Bogans. He dishes it to Blatch. Nice ball movement by Brooklyn. Bogans can't get it to go.
Well, they've built a big lead here so far, and a lot of it has to do with how well they've been rebounding.
Yeah, every time they make a stop, they're securing the rebound, and that's really allowed them to get out to this lead.
Here's Taylor. He's guarded by Knight. Stackhouse. And what was that about? Not a good shot right there. Pistons shooting has been just outrageous, 64% from the field to this point. And here's Harden for three, but they'll get another chance. Dives for it, and it's out of bounds. The Pistons able to retain possession here. Some changes for Brooklyn. Marshawn Brooks is checked in for Stackhouse. And it's Watson in for Keith Bogans. And Ibaka kicks to Hickson. Stolen by Brooks.
Well, not much they can do at this point.
Nope, playing for pride, trying to finish strong for pride's sake.
Shot by Taylor, no good.
Some rugged defense there against one of the stronger finishers in the game.
And stolen by Watson. No good. And so it's the Pistons taking care of business.
Your Nets, 85. The Pistons, 114.
I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. Now I slam it when I'm done and make sure it's broke. When I'm gone, no one gets on, cause I won't let nobody press up and mess up the scene.